Welcome to New Moons, More Than Meets the Eye. In today's video, we will be talking about 3 new moons that have been discovered, 1 orbiting Uranus and 2 around Neptune. I first read about them in an online article from skyandtelescope.org. It was written on February 29, 2024 by Jeff Hecht. They had been officially announced on February 23rd. I thought it was an interesting subject and wanted to share it with you. Now, these 3 moons are the first to be discovered around Uranus and Neptune since 2003. Well, sort of. We will talk a little bit more about this later on. With the discovery of the 3 moons, it brings a total to 28 moons for Uranus and 16 for Neptune. These new moons are also similar to that of Jupiter and Saturn's moons, because they were also formed from fragments and other objects that were captured from space. The new moons were discovered via telescopes here on Earth, and there surely are more out there, but we would need a probe to discover these. We will also talk more about this later on in the video. Scott Shepard from Carnegie Science was interviewed in the article. He was quoted in saying, "These objects are at the edge of detectability, and the ice giants have been neglected." The first discovery of the Uranus moon was in 2023 by Scott Shepard with the Magellan telescope. Well, it was actually discovered before this, but the observation time wasn't long enough to calculate its orbit. Shepard started to collaborate with Marina Brozovic and Bob Jacobson from NASA's Jet Propulsion Labs. During their work, they realized they had seen one of the Neptune moons decades ago. While using the Subaru telescope in Hawaii, they noticed this faint moon. They also took data from the ALMA telescope in Chile and the Gemini North telescope, also in Hawaii. They combined these 3 observations and managed to calculate the faint moon's orbit. The small moon takes the longest to orbit the planet than any other planetary moon. In fact, all 3 of the moons are the faintest yet that ground-based telescopes have found orbiting the ice giants. The moon orbiting Uranus is designated S/2023 U1. The moon is 8 kilometers across, or 5 miles. It is the planet's smallest known moon, and it has an orbit of 680 days. Scott Shepard first spotted this moon on November 4, 2023, with the Magellan telescope at Las Cañas Observatory in Chile. The first new moon of Neptune, as I mentioned earlier, Shepard, Brozovic, and Jacobson realized they had observed it decades earlier. This is designated S/2002 and 5 and is 23 kilometers across and takes 9 years to orbit Neptune. The other new moon and smaller of the 2 is designated S/2021 N1 and is 14 kilometers across and takes 27 years to orbit Neptune. Each of these 3 new moons are grouped in orbit with 2 larger moons. S/2023 U1 is grouped with Uranus's moons Caliban and Stefano. S/2021 N1 is grouped with the Neptune moons of Samathe and Niso. S/2002 N5 is grouped with Scio and Lamedia. Planetary scientists feel that the outer part of our solar system holds the key to understanding how our solar system formed and evolved. The National Academy of Science has put a high priority on a mission called the Uranus Orbiter and Probe, which some people have urged the powers to be to send a probe to Neptune as well. This mission was to launch in 2031, but it has been pushed to the mid to late 2030s. This is due to the shortage in plutonium production. It was tough for Shepard and time-consuming also to find these 3 new moons, not to mention a lot of time on the world's largest telescopes. When the orbiter and probe are launched, this will be a better opportunity to get up close and personal with these moons and all that is out there. What we can only see as faint objects from our telescopes. There was one comment on the article that I wanted to share. I got a little chuckle out of it. It read, "A moon just 5 miles across? The IAU is probably going to start a new dwarf moon category." I hope you enjoyed this little video on the new moons of Uranus and Neptune. Thanks for watching, and until next time, live long and prosper.